Yeah, I retired in 2009,
Okay.
so about almost 15 years ago, a little over 15. I saw an opportunity. So back then, social media had just started getting big. You know, Facebook came about in 2004. So the last 5 years of my TV career, people weren't watching the 5 o'clock news the way they used to. They were getting headlines on Facebook and Twitter and seeing videos on YouTube. And it became my job to learn how to use those tools. You know, the powers that be said, you're young, get out there and learn how to do this so we can get our audience back. And the more I did that and told stories on radio and TV, but also on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, the more I realized we weren't really getting our audience back. And this was the way people wanted to communicate. And that sort of instant gratification was important to people. And they couldn't get that when they're sitting around waiting for the news program.
Sure.
Or even when, you know, I was at CNN, and even when there's an endless news cycle, like headline news, they've got to wait for it to come around again every 30 minutes, where it's not like that on social media. You can get new news every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the reason I left. The other part, candidly, is that I married my husband, and he lived in California. He worked for Starbucks corporate, had a good job. And when I married him, I said, I'll marry you, but I'm not going to leave my job. So for the first year, we lived apart. I lived here in Atlanta, and he lived in Orange County. And so I didn't move till after our first anniversary. And I was like, oh, I guess I got to live with the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it wasn't actually as hard as you would think. I don't think we'll ever get divorced, but we might go back to that. Different states had its pros, you know.
Sure, yeah.
I'm a pretty independent person. I think he knew what he was getting himself into. Right. But anyway, I wanted to live with him.
Yeah.
And so I went to my bosses at the time and said, you know, I'd like to leave, and I would like to move to California. And they said yes, but they released me from my contract, which meant I couldn't go into TV in California. So I knew at that point that my that part of my life was winding down.
Yeah.
And that was a choice I willingly made. I felt like I had done a lot of amazing things, and I was ready to sort of see what else was next. And candidly, I'd seen Real Housewives, so I thought, I'm going to sit by the pool, I'm going to drink martinis. He's going to support me in the style to which I've become accustomed, and everything's going to be great. And I did do that for about 2 weeks and thought I was going to go crazy. So at that point, my husband sat me down and said, you need a job. Yeah. And I said, I agree, but what do I know how to do? I'm a television anchor, right? I have no marketable skills. And he said, that's not true. You know about social media. You've been doing that much longer than anybody else. You know how to tell a story. You know about content. And I thought, you're right. I can help business owners learn how to harness these tools. And more than that, I can help them learn what to put on there, because nobody knows how to talk about themselves or tell compelling stories. And so I started KWSM thinking that I was going to be a consultant, and it would just be me in my yoga pants in my spare bedroom with a laptop helping people. And it very quickly grew into an agency, and I thought, okay, we're doing this. And 15 years later, here we are.